So this is session 2 of Father and Son, and today I'm going to look at the younger son. He simply went to his father and asked for his share of the inheritance, which would have been a terrible insult to the father. Under the custom of the time, when the father died, the majority of the estate would go to the elder son, because he then became the patriarch of the family and responsible to use those resources to look after the rest of the family. But here we read the father divided the estate between the two sons, which means the younger one got half the resources that were needed to care for the rest of the family. And the son took it. And this shows that he just didn't care about the rest of the family. He didn't care that they were going to be going short. And he's basically saying, I don't want any part of you and I don't care what happens to you. His focus is purely on himself. But his actions weren't just selfish, they were actually quite shameful, because he was putting his family's position in jeopardy. And in the community of that time, that's a very shameful thing to do. And so the father's action too would have been shameful. No one in the village would have tried to help them because they had done this shameful thing. Now, there was a custom in that time that if a family member did lose some of their property to another Jewish family because of a debt or something, then the family member, the patriarch, could buy it back. He could redeem that land. We see that happen actually in the story of Ruth. Now, Ruth came back to Israel with her mother Naomi, who was originally from Israel, and the land that had been belonging to Naomi's husband was bought back by a relative called Boaz. Boaz then married Ruth and he took Naomi into the family, and so he redeemed the land and he brought them into the family, into the father's house. There's also a custom in the time that in the 50th year, any land that was still owned by a person who didn't originally own it, that land would go back to the original owner. It was called the Year of Jubilee. However, if a person lost the inheritance to a Gentile, then that land could not be redeemed, and that person would actually be excluded from the village forever. So the son in the story has been selfish, he's rejected his whole family, and the father himself has been shamelessly generous, and he would have been seen as a fool and a disgrace. Now, in this story, the father is God. The son could be any one of us. When we think of our needs, our wants, fulfilling our dreams without taking care about anyone else, then we're doing exactly what the younger son did. And so that's easy to recognise. But what about the father? He acted foolishly. We need to think about what God has done for us. He's allowed us to take everything he's given us, all our giftings, all our resources, and we can take them and we can use them selfishly, just in the way we want to, without any thought for anyone else. So has God acted shamelessly? The God of the universe came to earth, the child of a not yet married couple, born in an animal shelter. The God of the universe went to the cross, and the cross was a deliberate way of shaming a person. They hung naked in disgrace as a criminal. So is this a God who cares about how other people perceive him? Or is he a God more concerned with the people that he cares for? Are we willing to act in ways that people may think quite shameless just to show how much God loves? Are we willing to be foolishly generous in caring for others? God has given us such freedom. He's lavished so much upon us. What do we do with that?
Here is love, vast as the ocean, loving kindness as a flood. When the Prince of Life, our ransom, shed for us his precious blood, who his love will not remember, who can cease to sing his praise. He can never be forgotten throughout heaven. floodgates of God's mercy